Ready? Hey everyone, welcome again to our weekly VIP calls. And tonight is going to be extra special because we have our friend JP here tonight. So JP is from Vegas. He loves F1. He's a founder of 3 companies. He's a business consultant. And this guy's amazing. He helps business owners scale their businesses to 6, 7, 8 figures and beyond, right? So super honored to have him here tonight. And he's also going to be a speaker at our next live VIP event.
Yeah.
So don't forget, just join first.
Thanks, JP. Thanks, JP, for being here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you to all of you for having me. I appreciate it.
So how did I guess before we get started, like in what you're doing right now, but maybe you can give us like a little back end story of how did you get into entrepreneurship? Like, was this something straight out of school, or did you do the college route? Did you have another career path? Like, how did it all begin?
Yeah, for sure. So my first dabble in entrepreneurship, I was about 19 years old. I think this was 2015. And I came across Ty Lopez's ad on YouTube here in my garage with my new Lamborghini here, right? So I was like, oh, this is cool. So I started off with like social media marketing agency when that was first a thing. And I had an itch for entrepreneurship. My family all are like small business owners, so I grew up in that environment. I also struggled with school, like just traditional education. So, I still went the college route, but I struggled. And the only thing I didn't struggle with was anything like finance or business related. So I was like, oh, I think I kind of figured my thing out here. So being 19 and 20 years old, still going to school, I would be going to school full time, working at a bank part time, and then basically work on the social media marketing agency after that. Those businesses didn't work out well because I just wasn't passionate enough for them, but it was kind of like how I got started. And then over a period of time, I did go to school for business. So while working at the bank, I kind of understood the credit system really well, the banking system really well. And so I took all of that knowledge and decided to do a project on financial technology, creating like a budgeting app and go the startup route while I was in school. Tried that. That didn't work out because funding didn't come through. So it is what it is. But then I just went too deep in the rabbit hole of entrepreneurship. So post-college, I still worked at the bank, but I decided to try going the career route and eventually just burned out. I was like, nope, I just want to go start my own business. And then went into online business, essentially, and online entrepreneurship.
Nice, bro. And you're only 26, right? 26?
Honestly, I'm losing track now. I think I turned 28 this year. So
Oh, you did? Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, 28. Nice. Is okay. So 19 to 28 is your road to entrepreneurship. Nice, man.
I do that too. I forget how old I am. I'm like, Lewis,
yeah,
how
after
old am I?
26.
Am I 35? Am I 36? What year is it?
Yeah.
Stop talking, that's why.
Exactly.
So you went to college, and then you finished, right? You finished college.
Yep, finished college and then continued working in banking for a couple of years after that before I went full time into entrepreneurship.
Right. Okay. And then you got into this first company, right? That you founded, or
Yep. So
co-founded?
I co-founded a online credit / funding / finance company with a business partner of mine. We were both in the credit space at the time. Like I said, I went down the credit rabbit hole a lot, became very, very passionate about it. And then at the bank, I worked with a lot of business clients specifically. So I saw that there was a need for just small business owners acquiring funding for themselves. So I was like, perfect. I'm a credit geek. I know that there's a need for it because I work with all these clients on a weekly basis. And I came across my business partner through one of those online Telegram groups. And then we just had a Zoom call one day and it was like, hey, we've known each other for a couple of years now. Why don't we go into business together and start this thing? And we decided to just jump in it together. And 6 months later, I quit my job and we were just like all in full time in that business venture.
Oh, wow.
Nice, bro. So how long were you, I guess, like self-employed or jobless? How long now?
Oh, so I quit my job in 2021. So no, yeah, early 2021. It was April 2021. And then since then, I've just been a full-time entrepreneur since then.
Nice. And how was that experience? Because I know a lot of people like want to quit their jobs, right?
That transition.
So how was that really, right?
It was exciting and scary all at the same time. Because I've gone the startup route before, I very much really enjoy the excitement around just like getting your hands dirty and like putting your head down and grinding until the business just clicks, right? But that first year was really, really challenging in terms of like figuring out the offer, figuring out the deliverables, regardless if you go to school for business or not. What you learn in school versus reality is very, very different. So being young at that time, I mean, I was pretty still young, right? And trying to run that type of business in a finance space, and people are ultra sensitive about money and ultra skeptical about X, Y, and Z. Trying to navigate all that hesitation while trying to, pay my bills, pay myself some sort of money was really challenging. But I did prepare before leaving my job where I had like a savings cushion of like 8 months. So I had 8 months to make sure that this business started to generate revenue with my business partner so that I didn't end up in a crazy situation. So I did do some planning around that.
Nice.
Did you have like a support like from your family or?
No, there is no support because I was already married at that time too. I got married young.
Oh,
So it was just my wife and I, but she was also getting her career off the ground. So I literally planned all the finances. I was like, okay, this is how much she makes. This is how much she contributes to the bills. This is how much I need to make sure that I have for like my half of things. And then the rest is kind of like budgeting for like survival. So
yeah.
that's all that kind of happened when it came to planning financially. There was no outside support from that.
But your wife supported you. Did your family support you in the sense of like they didn't like they just support your entrepreneurship in a way?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So financially, there was no additional support, but from like a
emotional support.
Emotional
emotional support, there was plenty of that. My wife was
Oh,
super
okay.
supportive throughout the entire journey. My family was kind of like, oh, you should really build your career. Even though they're small business owners, I think they wanted me to be different because I am first generation American in the family. So like, like we kind of had to risk everything and go this route, right? You should kind of like leverage the career side a little bit more. And I was like, no, I don't want to. But they were supportive nonetheless. So there was a lot of support for sure.
So
Wow.
first, oh, go ahead, Ron. Go.
No, okay. So I had some questions about the credit businesses because I know a couple people that have them, and I've always been curious of
Mhm.
how these even work. How do you make money? You said get profitable in 8 months. So
Yeah.
what was like you guys' I guess business plan?
Mhm.
What are you selling? How do you scale to that? What's
Yeah.
that like?
Yeah. So initially, when we started the business, we went the coaching route. Everybody was doing coaching programs. It was still kind of like the sweet spot to really make a business through coaching. And it was more profitable and scalable to do it that way because it's one to many versus one to one. So we started off with the coaching program. We made slightly less than six figures in those first 6 to 9 months or whatever it was. So again, we did struggle. And it got so bad that we were left with like 1 month runway worth of cash. And then we were like, this is not good. This coaching program stuff is not the move. And so what we did is we just surveyed our existing client base, those that did sign on, and we're like, hey, we just want some feedback. If the business were to do anything differently, what would you guys have preferred that this experience be like? And they said done for you service, essentially like done for you work in this space. And I was like, huh, there's a couple of big companies out there that are doing it the right way. So let's change our business model. So literally in January, when we had 1 month worth of runway left, we changed the business model to done for you, full-blown agency style. And then after that, we got some cash back in the bank and we invested into like other coaching programs to help us with like sales processes, marketing. So we kept doubling down to the point where we kept not having enough cash, right? But from investing in sales processes and things like that, literally about 30 to 60 days later, it was just skyrocket from there. So the business model change on top of doubling down and investing in processes helped us like scale to seven figures.
Wow. Okay. So you were coaching people and trying to teach them how to fix their credit instead of like, just do it for me. I'll pay you all this money if you just did it for me. Is that basically how it happened?
Yeah, it wasn't so much like fixing their credit. It was more like coaching and providing core curriculum trainings on like, the different types of funding strategies and preparing your credit profile and all of that. And people would follow and then they would come on the coaching calls and say, hey, I'm about to pull the trigger on this. This is what I'm going to do. Do you have any feedback? And we would be like, oh yeah, maybe change this or do this instead or explore this credit product because it looks like they're lending a lot right now based on our data points and research, right? Then they would go take action and get results, and that would kind of be our like testimonial or results or outcome for those clients. But that is what we tried to do in the beginning phase.
And they were like, no, we want you to just find the credit and do everything for me.
Pretty
Literally.
much. Yeah,
Were
exactly.
you able to charge significantly different? Like, what were the price points on those?
So with the coaching program, we were playing already in the high ticket space. So we were charging between, I want to say 3 to 5K initially because we were brand new. So we weren't comfortable charging more than that. And then once we got results, we then increased our price point to 5 to 7K. But I think we could tell that although we were getting results, there was some friction in the customer experience, sort of like, oh, that's it, right? And we started taking mental note of that. It's like, oh, well, they're happy with the results, but they also expected more for what they paid. This is probably an indicator that we need to change things. We just don't know what to change it to. But eventually, that's when we did the survey and we're like, oh, they would pay the same price, but they would expect more in a done-for-you service. Pricing model kind of stayed the same, but at least the client experience increased, and it also helped us retain customers because they're like, oh, you helped us solve this one problem. Now you have a second offer now that helps me solve a different set of problems. Sure, I'll pay you again because now they felt like they got their money's worth. So that's how we solved all those things.
This is the right guy, bro. You got the right guy. I got so many questions about coaching, but
Told you, bro.
I'll let these take
This is
over.
the guy. Yeah, he knows like offers and scaling and structure, like back-end structure stuff. So yeah. I mean, he works with brands, so
So I just finished $100 million leads and offers. So I'm like, I'm ready to go, but I want it tailored to like what I'm doing. I'm sure Lewis probably does too. So I might ask you some questions on this call.
Oh, please do. Please do.
Help out.
I got you.
now you'll for the audience, that are gonna watch it. So.
Absolutely. I could go on this stuff for hours.
Want to go, Ron? Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Okay.
You got shy, bro.
Well, I was like, where are we at in this interview? Am I about to just be selfish? I don't want to be selfish, but
No, I invite you to. Please do.
I guess for my, what I want to do is a model that I want to coach people and teach people how to flip and wholesale houses, really. And I'm just thinking about the offer I should make. And what did you like Hermoge's book and the way he explained how to do everything? Or are you a little bit different?
Yeah, I like his book. I think from a fundamental perspective, it gives you everything you need. The only thing that I don't think it does a good enough job of is explaining the customer experience, how to get people the outcome of what it is that you're selling, right? How to
100%.
So I think it's lacking that. And I think it's safe to say every business that I've built or any client that I work with, I kind of start with the client experience and the outcome. So it's like, what's the outcome? Okay, this is the outcome you want to get for your market. Have you validated that this is what they want, right? Based on the conversations that you're having. If so, amazing. What's the client experience that's going to support that outcome? So when they pay you, what are they going to experience on the back end, step by step, to get to that outcome? So you can essentially create guardrails and guarantee the outcome to the best extent that you can, based on the support system, the coaching, the trainings that you're putting together for them, right? So that's usually how I like to approach the deliverable side of things. The other element of it is really just the guardrails, like I said. What are the guardrails that protect the outcome? So for me, and Lewis has heard this in the mastermind trainings, is like the 3 C's, is coaching, a curriculum, which is training videos, and then community, which is a platform for those people to continue having those conversations and engaging. So, when you have the curriculum and the community, it actually takes a lot of the heavy lifting away from you, because now it's like you have all the resources, just it's laid out very methodically for you to get to the outcome. If you get stuck, make a post about it or bring your questions to the coaching call so I can coach you, right? And as long as you do that in a very methodical and thought out way that makes sense to achieve the outcome, then you end up with a really, really powerful offer. And when you do that, you have what's called price elasticity, which means you can go from having a 5K offer, but because you're so damn good on the back end, now you've just added or increased the value of your offer by more, and you could easily double your price point and it's justified. People try to increase their price point, but not justify, and that's where they go wrong.
Ooh, ooh, okay, okay. The first offer that I think about for me, man, that you're so right, because right now I'm building my curriculum, and the community is there, but it's like super quiet. I'm quiet in it, so they're quiet.
Yeah.
But my offer right now is like, and I struggle with this too, because what I do, I know I could teach someone to make millions of dollars in a year. But I don't want to say, oh, I want to make you $1 million. I kind of like dumbed it down to like 100K. Quit your job. I can teach you how to make 100K or 100K on the side. I want to charge, 10% of that, like whatever I'm kind of guaranteeing. I was kind of told to like take 10% of that. That should kind of be where your offer should be. And I was like, all right, I can easily show someone how to make 100K, not by themselves, no team, just by themselves, charge 10K for it. And I was like, what offer would I make to make it irresistible offer? And I'm there right now, like, man, I kind of see all these ads out there, and I'm like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah, the ads they can definitely confuse the market. That's also a common issue in the credit and finance space that we had to navigate to. But again, it comes down to the outcome that you can talk about, which should be different from your competitors to some extent, right? And then your delivery, which should also be unique to you and your business model compared to your competitors as well, right? So when you start that, you reverse engineer all of that all the way to your sales and marketing. Because if you're clear on the outcome and you're clear on how they're going to get there, now you bring that over to the marketing side and say, hey, I can help you achieve X result with this Y method, which is my method, in Z amount of time, which is also Hormozi playbook, add a time frame in there, right? And yeah, you can start with 100K, and then you can kind of work your way up to that in like future offers or future marketing language. But I think that's a great place to start.
You do? Okay, cool. I was like, should I make it smaller, like 30K and 90
Well,
days?
that's up to you. It also depends on your audience, like where your audience at in their journey, right? Have they like dipped their toes in? And so they're not total beginners. So meaning 30 to 50K might not speak to them, but 100K might. Or if you're getting mostly beginners, sometimes that 100K, believe it or not, is still a little far-fetched, regardless if all the other ads in the world are saying 100K because of marketing tactics, right? So that's you meeting where your ideal clients are, and you just have to figure out who's your ideal client and who do you want to attract more of. Do you want to attract more of the beginners? Do you like working with the beginners and getting them to that first 30, 50K and then help them level up to the 100K? Or is your ideal client someone that's already tried a little bit of, real estate or fix and flipping, all of that, and they just really just need to get over the hump? And that's where you come in, is to help them get over the hump. And then your outcome and delivery helps them get there.
Ooh, I don't know. I definitely like working with people who've already taken action, right, and done some stuff. They're just stuck. I like how you worded it, was perfect. The beginner, you have to you got to get mindset, and belief is the big hurdle.
Oh yeah,
these people, the people who already have done it, they already have done that. The hard work is to do a deal or believe it could be done.
Yeah.
I wonder how do I find out which one? Probably, I guess, how do I figure that out?
Like, how do you figure out your clientele?
Because I kind of, how do I do it? Who needs the most? Okay, so I think about this. Do I start where I used to be? Dang, man, I hate working these jobs. I hate working for other people. I wish I had a way to learn to do real estate and flip houses. I just don't know how to do it. That was me. Or, I've been trying to do deals. I did one. I suck at something. I don't know what it is, but you got this new method. Because the method I do now, I spend no money. Like there's literally like no money we're spending, and we're doing deals, and we're about to scale it. And I like that part of it because the way other people, you got to spend like 5-6K a month
Yeah.
in marketing.
Mhm.
Now I don't even spend any of that. It's all
Yeah.
free methods. That's working really well.
The
So I
first
just don't know which one's better. I think there's more people that are new, but maybe, I guess I don't know where to start looking at
Yeah.
that.
I think you might have answered your own question though, because you're like, do I talk to people that are kind of like me when I first started, which would be the beginners, right? But then at the same time, you've gotten so many reps in and doing it yourself that you speak a different language now than when you did when you were a beginner, right? So it's like, do you want to attract people that now speak the same language as you do? And they're going to be attracted to like 100K more. How do I earn 100K plus? And then you just work directly with them and you don't have to deal with the
Yeah.
beginners and getting them over that mental hurdle. Because even with the more advanced people, there is always going to be some sort of hurdle from a mindset perspective to get through, but it's a lot less than the ultimate beginner.
I don't think it's
Mm.
beginners, bro. Honestly,
What's that? You
I don't
don't
think
think I
I want
want
to work with
beginners?
beginners.
Yeah.
Why you say that? Because you know me?
Because it's because when I talk to you about my stuff, right? It's like you're like, oh, how come people are not showing up? It's because they're beginners, you know. That's why.
Yeah, that's
Like they,
true.
they pay money and not show up. They kind of have all these like
Mhm.
minds, like bad mindset in their head. And I
Yeah.
don't deal with that, bro. Based on our conversations, at least.
You're right, dude. Because I used to be like, bro, I had students, and they like some would have success and then stop, and I would take it personal. Like, why aren't you, bro? If you're not going to show up and do this, I don't even want. But I was like, that's dumb because
Yeah.
they're paying all my friends 10, 20K to not take action. Why am I not okay with them to pay me to not take action? That's dumb. I was looking at a difference, but now I'm like, you might be right, Lou. It might be more. I might be okay with working with the people who know some stuff, right? That might be a good place to start because it's not going to be cheap. It's going to be like 10K, right? So they have to already. There might be a hurdle there for some people. Okay.
Plus, I think plus with your marketing, like I mean, do you want to talk basics of real estate or do you want to talk your language now, like you said? He actually gave me an idea for like marketing.
Yeah.
It's based on how you want to talk too, right? On camera. Because you're gonna be bored,
Yeah,
bro. So
I would probably get really bored if I have to explain the basics every time,
Mhm.
and you're
every
just gonna
time
quit, bro.
forever.
You
And
get frustrated and yeah.
Yep.
but the money, it wouldn't be hard to do. It'd just be like, all right, let me show you how to open an email or whatever. You know what I mean? Something, whatever is easy.
I I feel like at a high level, think about it like this. If you start building your business based on your ideal clients, that might be the best way because you're not always going to close someone right away either. So there's going to be a lead generation process in that, right? You're going to be building an email list, you're going to be building a lead list. Some of those people will become your clients. The people that don't, at some point down the road, if you identify that they didn't become a client because of that gap in knowledge, that could be a future lower ticket offer,
Okay.
right? That you retarget them with and say, hey, we had a conversation months ago. How are you doing? Okay, well, I have this thing I'm coming out that's going to help bridge the gap between where you are now and to where most of my clients are at. And so when you fill that gap and you solve that set of problems, going back to certain Hormozy principles, is like, cool, solve that problem for those people, but in maybe a course format, not a coaching format. So
Mm,
rather they show up for the course or not is up to them, right? But at least for those that go and purchase the retargeting course at a lower ticket, they get invested, they then get invested in your community and engaging with you in other platforms, right? And then when the time is right, they'll be like, this was actually a really good course with no coaching. And I think now I understand the language that they're speaking in this other container. And I want to go have another conversation with Ron and see if I'm ready for that because now I get it. And there you go.
oh, okay. So let me say it back to you. Let me see if I heard it right. So have have my coaching program where it's they get me. and like a course and me and the community. Then have like an a la carte, maybe it's like $1,000 or something like that. Course, know me, like a digital product. You can join the 10K if you want, but I don't think you're ready. Just do the course. Like maybe put some down there, learn that, do some deals, make some money, then come into my,
Yep.
once you've done a deal or two, pay for this one, and we can take you off. We can take off like that.
Exactly.
Okay.
But
Okay, awesome.
you don't want to fall in the pitfall of getting caught up in creating that future offer of the low ticket. First, focus on your main business so that you actually have a list of people that are either not eligible or not ready to work with you, because those are the same people you're going to retarget later. So just cross that bridge when you get there. I only mention it because it could be a perfect retargeting strategy to create your ideal client if you're not landing your ideal client.
Okay, so you're saying when I do ads, speak to the person that's stuck.
Yep.
Don't say, "Hey, brand new person that wants to quit your job." Don't do that.
Exactly.
Okay, that might be awesome, bro. Okay.
So
Yeah.
build the list first and then pitch him later and downsell later. That makes sense. Instead of going so broad, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
do I turn them away? People are like, "Hey, I'm brand new, but I still want to join." Am I like, no? Or how would I handle that?
That's a great question. So I got to a point where I started turning people away, and you are leaving money on the table, but that's also out of integrity, because if the person isn't ready and they still want to pay you and you're like, sure, come on board, but you know exactly where they're at mentally and in their journey, they're most likely not going to succeed regardless of what you do. So it's just going to be really tougher for them to achieve the outcome because they're not playing at that level yet. And so what that creates is a couple things. It can create resentment towards you, the coach. It can also lead to dissatisfaction to a point where they might ask for a refund or do a chargeback, which isn't fun. So there's all those risk elements to the point where it's actually worth turning them down. But turning them down politely and saying, hey, look, based on the conversation we're having, based on everything you shared, it doesn't seem like you're quite here yet. I'm just being honest with you as an expert and based on the other clients that work with me in this container. So, let's have a conversation a couple months from now and let's see where you're at in your journey, and we can discuss it another time. And either at that point in time, you will have your downsell offer available. And even if you don't, it's okay. Just relationship build and say, no, I do want to have a future conversation with you, but there's some work that you need to do. And here's what I recommend that you do in the meantime. And let's chat again in like 2-3 months. And then you see where they are again. And then maybe at that point, your downsell or low ticket is ready. Then you can go back and in that second conversation, like, hey, I actually, there were actually a decent amount of people that weren't ready. So I went ahead and created this. And I just wanted to know if that's something that you'd be interested in, because I think it could actually help you bridge the gap between where you are and where people are at in my container. So just want to give you a heads up on that. Boom.
And that's sick, bro. Here's the last screwball I'll give you, because I think I'm good. But like, it's not really that hard. If they get the course, they really can do a lot with it. They really can. It's not that difficult to perform the tasks that you need to be successful. It's really not.
Yep.
So there's not this huge gap of learning that's like super technical. It's just like, do it. You know what I mean? It's not like the hardest thing in the world to make an offer on a house. Here's a template. Here's how to do it. Here's a script. You're rocking.
Yeah.
Go do it. Okay, cool. This is interesting. I want to talk to you more about this.
I got you, man.
We don't have to do on this call. I don't want to take all the
He's
stuff.
my first choice, bro, for event or live event. Imagine.
Yeah, coach me on the live event, bro. I should
got you. Sounds good.
And I guess with this offer too, bro, like, how do you feel about it? This offer that we're trying to launch right now, because this started. Huh? Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say, yeah. Tell me about the offer. I know. My understanding is it's a membership model, right?
Yeah, but this really started because of our live events.
Oh, okay.
Everybody was saying they wanted more. So, and then people were coming from out of like the state. So we're like, okay, how can we keep people connected who are out of state and kind of create a community where people can come and we can keep it going basically until we have another live event.
Mhm.
Yeah. And plus, it's also like a space for the speakers to actually like train, right? So, for example, you, right? You're I'm gonna speak on stage, and they can only hear you for like 10, 20 minutes maybe, right? But
Mhm.
here's a space now where you can train for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Actually get value from you, and maybe even like pay you, right, for like more.
It's more
Yeah.
in depth speaker, I feel, because on stage you guys
Yeah.
are just being asked
That's like
questions.
Q&A.
Yes, Q&A.
Like, So
Yeah.
so we're
I
charging
love-
$50 a month right now.
How many? How much?
50 a month.
Okay.
And we're just kind of like making, we're just like figuring this out like on the fly, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's free. Our live events were free. And then we just that last event that you went that Rad was, it was $20, right?
Yeah.
Like $20, right? Yeah.
That's $20.
And then people were saying
And
we're
then
undercharging by a lot.
Charging. So we're just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So we're just trying to navigate it all. Like maybe we should charge more at live events and then charge like way cheaper for online.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think the membership model is smart. I have plenty of peers that do the membership model and they have like quarterly events as well. So kind of, this membership model helps keep the momentum and the energy from the event and it keeps people invested, right? Until the next event. So from a model perspective, I think it works well. From a live event perspective, if you're charging $20, the lowest ticket price that I've seen based on like workshops or other just like mastermind events, the cheapest I've seen it go is like 100, 150. I've never seen it go below that. So maybe you could go up in price, and that's also going to either attract the same people and maybe they're willing to pay based on the previous experience, or number two, it'll attract new people who again are willing to just pay the price, right? And then it's like, oh, we go to this event for 100, 150 bucks, whatever the case is. Oh, this was so great. Love the speakers, love the content that was provided, love, what the 2 cents everybody had to give, love the networking opportunities. How do I stay in touch with these people? Hey guys, if you guys want to stay in touch with each other, obviously you can contact exchange, or you join the community for just 47 bucks a month. You guys can message each other on there, keep collaborating with each other, keep the energy going. And the same speakers that you guys connected with in this event, we're going to invite them on to train on a specific topic, once for like 90 minutes or something like that. So feel free to join just like that. Right. So overall, I think your model is good, and it's just you're going to have to keep figuring it out. That's kind of how this world works, right?
Yeah, it's the hustle and the grind in the beginning.
Because no one's really like joining, but to be honest, we're at like 12 people right now.
Hey,
I mean,
better than
we
zero.
just started, which we're okay with that, but we're like, okay, well, are we missing something? Because you know what I mean? So
Well, I think the other way you make this model work is you just retarget the people that joined your event. So make sure you're collecting emails, and rather they get retargeted with an ad, or rather they get retargeted with emails or something like that, and it doesn't have to be spammy. You can just say, hey, what's your feedback on the event? Amazing. I don't know if you missed this or not, but we actually have this other container available to you if you'd like to like stay in touch with all of us, get access to additional resources. All of our guest speakers come, they train, and they also leave resources, and all those replays are included on this platform. It's almost like a Netflix style. Would you want that? Either yes or no, but at least you're having the conversation with people. Like if I were to ask you right now, from the list of people that joined your event last time, have you got their emails in an email list, and have you reached out to the people that attended?
we did. I mean, not all of
Everybody?
them, honestly. We sent emails, huh?
Yeah. Some of
I
them,
mean, not
right?
everyone, but we've reached out to a few, and those are the few that actually joined.
So
Okay.
we didn't beat it up like we should have.
Right.
Yeah. So
Do you think our price is good? Like, or should
We didn't even know what to offer. Like, what do you guys? This is the thing me and Lewis talk about. What do they want? And I was like, I don't know. We have to ask them what they want in here.
I like his survey idea. Maybe that's something that we can do, is we can ask our audience for like, hey guys, what would you want out of our online community? Like, what would it be that you guys would want us to provide in order to join our community?
yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
right now
after
the
the
model is we have a speaker every week.
Mhm.
I mean,
we thought of that.
right.
We thought that's
The
what they
original
wanted.
plan was for us to teach Shu though. I mean, should we teach Shu or should we just keep it like, like
Mhm.
style with the speakers,
Yeah, I think that's where the survey comes in because they're going to tell you exactly what they want, right? Like, for example, I've seen some of your guys' Instagram stories. There's some element of like personal development, right? And things like that. Then you have the Amazon, and then you have anything else that comes along. So it's just really understanding like what people would want. So, for example, on a question on a survey, if you say,
Yeah,
hey,
what
what
questions do
do
we
you
ask?
want to see more of inside of this paid community? Or if we had a paid community for you, what would you like to see based on these topics? You don't make it where they can only pick one answer. You do multiple, you allow them to check multiple boxes on that one question, because then it tells you, oh, they're checking multiple boxes. So this is what we need to include more of in the community and at the events, right? So I think that would tell you a lot of in terms of that. But also keep in mind, sometimes you have to be really clear on what you do want your containers to look and feel like, and whatever recommendations come through, do they align with what you're trying to do or not? So there could be recommendations, and some people might give you answers where you're going to have to be like, yeah, that's not quite up our wheelhouse. That's quite not on brand for us, and that's okay. We'll take your other feedback, but this one's going out, and that's totally fine. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think with their face-to-face event, I think we kind of just duplicated what was happening there online. We weren't
Yeah.
really trying to add, so right, bro?
I mean, I would like us to do like workshops or like community gatherings. I love that because we've done that in our past businesses and it's really helped people stay together. Like they really like those connections. So
Mhm.
I don't know if that's something we could keep doing.
Yeah. Like, and don't feel rushed to do it all like so soon either, right? If this is just part of the vision of the business, like let it play out organically and give it space for it to breathe and for you to get feedback before you start changing things up and implementing. That's another thing that can, in some ways it can help and it could provide positive results, but it could also backfire as well. So just allow there to be some space to get feedback and to really think about it and do like micro versions of the feedback and see how it lands. And if it lands great for you guys and for the people, amazing. If it only lands for you, but it doesn't land for the people, then that's a loser, right? So you also have to give space. Veronique, I know you asked about also like ticket pricing,
Yeah.
right? $20 cheap. To some extent, yeah. Should you increase it right away? There's no right or wrong answer to that. Maybe you over time increase it up to that $150 mark, right? And also don't be afraid to also keep it at $20 just to get volume, right? People win on volume as well. So although I don't know what the financials are regarding running an event like that and profitability and all of that, but if $20 is either break even with slight profits, then keep doing that so you just keep building the community. And then that way, and Lewis, we also talk about this at the mastermind, you earn the right to increase your prices. So there's a little bit of that in there too.
How about like the 2-in-1 model where people, like pay like one monthly fee and they can have access to like both?
Yeah.
That's
So
good.
if they join the online community, then they can get free access to the events.
You could do that. So if they're existing members of the paid community, then they could get complimentary access to the events. But if they're not, then they have to pay.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're about to have an event soon, so we're trying to like figure out like which play are we gonna do this
Which
one,
play?
right, bro?
Yeah, man, and he brings up some really good points. The whole survey thing, like, it making me think, should we? I didn't even think about raising the price and giving them way much more for it, but we don't even know what they would even want. So these surveys are like, well, okay, so what are some good questions? What are more questions to ask people? You said, what would you want to see more of, and then give them like 4 or 5 options. Are there any more questions that come to your mind that might like help us? Because right now we're trying to like figure out what do you guys want? You've been to the event, right?
Yeah.
You were there.
Yeah.
So if we would have been like, hey, anybody want to join the community? Join. Here's a QR code. I think most of the room would have signed up. To do what? What are they, sign up for what? That's what my question is. What do we give them? I want to give them everything that they want, but I don't know what it is. I thought they wanted
Yeah,
this, but no one, this is a live call. No one's showing up to the call.
yeah,
This is like week 8. So obviously if they saw value in it, they'd be here.
true. Yeah, it's also
So
maybe
what are we missing?
it could be the customer. I think this is back to customer experience, is when they sign up, maybe it is not, I don't know, it may not be clear what it all entails to some extent, right? Or before signing up, they see the concept, but they just don't understand what to expect once they're in. So it could be some communicating there. So the next go around is just getting very clear on not what they want, because you're going to figure out what they want and you can keep adding into this experience. That's never going to be a problem. It's just, what are they actually getting? Like, just lay it out in bullet points. You're going to get weekly calls. You are going to get guest speakers from the events that are going to give us 60 to 90 minutes of their time to train on X, Y, and Z. The replays will be in the vault inside of this platform, right?
You have that, yeah.
Yeah, for those of you that pay, you guys get to maintain synergy, and we want collaboration with everybody. Keep us updated on where you are in your journey to see if we can support you in any way, or by being in the community, if you're not in our buckets of what we offer, we may know someone that is, but we won't know unless you post inside of the community, right? So now they have an incentive. Oh, $47 subscription. I get plugged into a network, but not just the network from the event. If they know a person that I need introduction to, and I just make a post and I find that person through them, amazing. That could be, I mean, I don't know how valuable that is, but it could be of value to someone, right? So that's something that I can kind of nitpick at. It might just be customer journey, customer experience. From a survey perspective, I'm speaking about the survey from a point of like post-event survey, right? So what do you want to see more of, right? And this can go to existing membership members, but also event attendees. What would you like to see more of in future events? Okay, cool. What did you like the most about the last event? Okay, amazing. And then maybe even in the survey, what is it that you do? Start to understand your audience a little bit more. What industries are they in? Right? Because then if you're like, oh, there's who was it? I forgot her name. She was like into like hair extensions, right? She was making mad money with hair extensions, right? She may not fall in your bucket, but maybe at some point she might need some support or a plug or a connection in the marketing space for whatever reason, right? So either you guys will have that connection that will train inside of the community, or you will find a way to create that content for them where they can find that support and that value inside of the community.
There's another question that I have. You think we should have our guest speakers inside the community too? I mean, for free, or should we keep the community just members only?
Good question.
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like if it's guest speakers and you intend on having them deliver value, I would probably say free, because maybe it's like, well, I went into that community and trained them and I hope that they got value. And if they need anything, at least I can engage with them in the community itself.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Versus you then having to send them to that person through Instagram or somewhere else. You keep it in the container all centralized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense, right, Ron? Maybe just ask the guest speaker, hey, like, do you want to be a part of it? We'll move the spot,
Yeah.
What's the flip side? What's the concern was like something that happened to Rad, someone like try to like take your people. I guess that could happen too, right? If you have the wrong person in there or whatever. Was that a worry you guys had, Lewis?
I mean, not really a worry, but more like it's just something, to consider.
How do you deal with that, I guess? That's a good question.
I guess we won't know.
Yeah, I mean, we're not even there yet, so, but I guess we've kind of dealt with that before, but I mean,
just it comes to like talking. I mean,
yeah, I think it comes to due diligence, right? Like how you guys vet your speakers, because essentially I don't know if it would make sense for you guys to open your doors to someone who doesn't speak at your event or train at your event, because the curiosity is generated from the event, right? So if your audience is like, oh my God, those speakers were amazing, we want more of them. Be like, hey, people loved you. Come into the event, do a training. Could you give me like 60 to 90 hours, not hours, minutes for a training, and we'll keep the recording in there. And we'll also give you the recording for content purposes. And you can just be in the community for free, because I think people would love to engage with you. You know, is that something you're open to doing? And obviously you ask the speakers too, see if like, because what you don't want to have is a speaker that just comes in and dips and doesn't engage either, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks. So, you know, this is just all conversational. And it's be like, hey, you were received really well within our community. We'd love to like see you continue engaging. If we gave you this, you know, spot and you trained, who knows, maybe it'll generate you business too. That's an upside for them. And in return, we just want you to part of our community. Does that work? Why not?
JP, you're awesome. It's so valuable. See, like someone can learn so much from the back end. Like I know like some people don't understand how much it takes to do some back end work, and all this little details matter, right?
Oh yeah.
So
It's a lot. It's hard to figure out.
yeah.
It's so hard to figure out. And honestly, there's no perfect answer. I'm just giving you based on experience, but by no means
Yeah.
like it could work for a while and then my advice will stop working, right? For all I know. But I think like, yeah, it's just a vetting. I think your events is the perfect place to vet your people, so that you minimize the risk of having you know, someone with poor intentions come in and screw up your energy, screw up the environment, and start pitching to people within the community. You don't want that, but that comes from getting to know your speakers more and doing some due diligence. So, yeah.
Exactly.
What do you think, Ron? Makes sense, right? Something to like talk about.
Yeah, like I could do this all day, bro. This is good. This is really good.
Is this like what you're planning on doing, JP? Like you're creating your coaching program to help people like kind of figure out how to take their business to the next level and stuff
This is
like
what it's doing now.
That's
I
kind of
know.
what I'm doing. Yeah.
Oh, but he said he was
Yeah.
working on something like
No,
more.
It doesn't.
Oh, are
take-
you asking like the vision for it, or?
Yeah, like what's your vision other than working with Rad and stuff? Are you planning to like kind of take this and take on more clients and things like that?
Yeah, so this is like, because I gave up a business, I gotta do a new business, right? Build another business. That's just the entrepreneurial cycle. So yeah, the intention is to build the business. Right now, it's been a very private kind of consulting practice, but now I'm ready to like ramp up a little bit more. So the vision behind it is definitely to scale it, but not just like throw on ads and get as many people as possible. I'm not doing that. I've already learned that whole thing. That's not the game I want to play. But mostly it's also to build a community. So if I were to tell you the vision, it's like, yeah, there's going to be this program plus consulting plus coaching. It's a hybrid of done with you, done for you in a sense, right? There's going to be business intensives per client, which is why I can't take on too many clients either. I'm going to give a lot of one-on-one time. And then after that, I'm also gonna go the event route. I will be hosting quarterly events. That's on the roadmap. And that's basically it. Community building, quarterly events, giving a lot of value on operational side of the business. And I might pull some strings to see if I can integrate sales and marketing way down the line, but I'm going to keep it operations focused for now.
I love it. I'm so excited for you. I can't wait to go to your events.
Thank you. One day it'll come.
What's the difference between coaching and consulting? It's a common question, right? In the market.
Oh man, it's so misunderstood. So misunderstood. They are not one and the same. Technically speaking, consulting is advisory. It usually does not come with any sort of service. However, in the space that we're in the online space, and when serving business owners, and when talking about the price points in consulting, which are normally 10K plus, right? To justify that, you have to include some sort of done for you. So my done for you comes in the form of a business intensive. I'm going to sit with you one-on-one. It could be for 2 days, it could be for a day, or it could be for 4 to 6 hours. I'm going to audit your business, develop a 90-day game plan based on the areas of opportunities and weaknesses, and it's all operational focused, give you a game plan of how to fix these things. And then the done with you is my training curriculum to address all those things. And either the founder can go through it or the operator goes through it and I coach either the operator or the founder on the integration and implementation of it. So that's where the hybrid comes in of service and coaching. If you think about the big four accounting firms, right? The Deloittes of the world, the Accentures of the world, the KPMGs of the world, you have all these consultants. Like right after college, they go become consultants and they work with Fortune 500 companies. Believe it or not, these people get paid six figures to basically create PowerPoint slides and go to corporations and pitch it to their exec teams. They don't even implement anything. Like consulting is the business of advisory, but I think you can't win just on advisory. Maybe at some point you can, right? But until you reach that point in your consulting career or your entrepreneurial career or whatever, you do have to offer more value up front in some sort of service.
Not enough value, just like talking about stuff. You gotta be like in the trenches with them, right? And building it with them.
To an extent, because my pitfall in consulting, because I thought I was doing consulting, is I was a fractional chief operating officer. So I was going into everyone's business, getting in the trenches, and got paid for it, which was amazing. But here's the problem, and it's a good problem, but it's not a good problem. The good problem is after I would be done working with the client, let's say for 90 days of fractional chief operating officer services, right? I'd fix their business. I'd leave them with processes, systems, documents, and all of that. The moment I leave the business, because I did it for the founder and they were like, I'm happy to pay this to get off my plate, they would not maintain the progress, right? So they would happily say, hey, JP, I just want you to come back. I'll pay you. It's like, oh, cool. I'll keep getting paid. That's fine. But that's not my vision for it, because now I am genuinely trading time for money again. That's not what consulting is supposed to be. So it's like, all right, fractional CEO, you're being a service provider, and that's fine if you truly want to do that work. I personally don't want to do all that work because I want my progress to be integrated and maintained over the long term. And that only happens when the founder and their operator are invested in the building process.
So they can run it once you leave.
Exactly.
Can you put a bridge between the owner and you and hire someone they can pay, make it worth it for someone to do that role?
1,000%. Yeah. So for example, right now, for my next set of cohorts, some of them have operators, some of them don't. And I'm like, hey, do you want to, like, as the founder, if you don't have an operator, I recommend you find one. And I'm essentially training your operator to become your COO, right? But you do need to be involved to some extent because they're going to run your business. So you should give a shit about this, right? So like that's kind of the framing that I'm doing with a couple of these potential clients. And they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Let me go figure this out, right? So it works both ways.
Dude, I've been wanting an operator in my business for so long. It probably would have kept me from making a lot of bad fluctuations I've had. What, like, fractional COO, like, what is, like, I know generally speaking, how much they cost?
So they should technically cost less than a full-time COO, right? So their retainers are going to be between 5 to 10K. A full-fledged COO is probably going to be in the same price range, but then they come with more costs in the form of benefits, being a W-2 employee and all those things, right? So in some sense, paying a retainer in the 5 to 10K range is still cheaper than having a full-fledged team member that is a C-suite team member, right? Then you also have to have a good compensation plan if you want an internal team member. But I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, fractional C, they come in and so $60,000 to $100,000. They're not there full time.
Yep.
They're there like quarterly, maybe an hour. I don't know even how it works.
Yeah.
They're not more than 40 hours a week. They may be 5 hours a week or something like that.
There's levels to it too. For me, like I'd go all in, so I would put in a lot of work and a lot of hours, but that was just my preference because that's just how I do things, right? But as a fractional COO, I would say somewhere between the 5 to 15 hour mark every single week, because if they're really supposed to be implementing long-lasting improvements on the business, then there's going to be hours spent on meetings, hours spent on updating you, making sure you know what's going on. And to a degree, because they're fractional, they should also be in some sort of hiring process to hire the permanent person at some point in time, because then that's how they know they're succeeding in their job. Or you might say, hey, thanks for being my fractional COO. I actually just want to hire you on a permanent basis. Or is that something you're open to? Because they would be open to that. Some of them are. So,
Yeah, because I'm in a spot where it's like, okay, I'm at like, let's say 300K. I'm like, okay, so in a year we can hit 600, right? But man, if I hire an operator, what could we do? When should people start looking at hiring an operator if they're just like, I have a partner in my wholesale business. It's me and my partner, but we're both integrators or we're both visionaries.
okay.
Hardly any integration, two visionaries, and like we kind of don't need each other. We need someone to implement all this stuff.
Yeah.
Because we don't really need two of us.
Yeah. So how do I answer that question? It's not an easy question to answer. So I would say you're probably ready for an operator, in my opinion. Depends on what you're like. I know you talked about your cash flow a little bit, but also look at your profit margins. Like, can you truly afford an operator, right? And then if you can, you also can't expect them to come in and fix the whole business. There are some elements that you have to prepare for that. Like, if your business is meant to run a certain way based on how you and your partner build the business, you can try to hire anybody and pay them whatever. They won't know how to operate your business just because they're an operator. So what you need to invest time in, whether it's you or your partner or both of you, is to start laying the foundation of your operations, which means, how do we do this? Okay, let's create a video training on it. That's an asset to train your operator, right?
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
document it? Can you create step-by-step documents? It's annoying. No visionary wants to do this work, but no visionary successfully hires an operator without doing this work either, right? So you just have to set the foundation first, just a 1.0 of what your operations functions and the document and the training that goes with that. The operator comes in, gets trained on that 1.0 foundation, and they're like, okay, this is how we operate today. Got it. Let me start getting to work based on what I have available to me. You will have to still develop the operator for a little bit of time. Let's just call it 90 days at least, right? To make sure they're fitting into the business, they're executing your operations to the standard that you and your partner have run the business all this time, and that works. Okay, amazing. Your operator is dialed in. Now you're like, okay, cool. Looks like you're locked in. Amazing. Keep doing it. We trust you now. If you want to improve the operations in any way, work your magic, sweetheart. Go for it, And then they just kind of update you and say, hey, there's some inefficiencies here in the business. I'd like to fix it. This is how I'd like to fix it. Okay, cool. All right, visionary hat on. All right, amazing. Go do it. I'm cool with it, right? And then that's kind of how that relationship comes about.
Oh, awesome. Awesome advice.
Yeah, gotcha.
Love it, bro. Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Hey,
I
man.
think
It's
we all
hours
just
of-
flew on by. Like this gave so much valuable information. So thank you again for doing this. This is awesome.
Yeah, my pleasure. Anytime, guys. I'm here for you all. So just let me know what you guys need.
Yeah, and how can people find you again, bro? Instagram, right? That's a good place to find you, or
Yeah, Instagram. It's just my name, JP Movaghar. It's here on the Zoom screen.
yeah.
Overlay
saw
with
that.
it. Yeah. So yeah, Instagram, that's pretty much where I am most of the time. I don't really have any other platforms right now. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Together too, double dates, all of us.
Oh, we will for sure. It's on my radar. My wife
I know.
is doing an event. She just needs to wrap that up this week, and then we'll both have some breathing room. And yeah, we'd love to do it. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys again for being here tonight, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for having me.
All right.